Hey, we're live. Hi, guys. It's Melissa from Adventures of Frugal Mom. I'm here with my beautiful friend and amazing friend, Jenny Bell from the Fayetteville CVB. And she's going to be talking to us all about Fayetteville and how Fayetteville is responding to COVID-19, also about her job at the CVB. And she's going to give us a little bit about herself. So, Jenny, introduce yourself.
Melissa, thanks so much for having me on the show today. I'm looking forward to our chat. So I am what I call a displaced Texan, and North Carolina is now home for me, specifically Fayetteville, which I call my adopted hometown. And I work for the Fayetteville Area Convention and Visitors Bureau as a communications and social media specialist. Part of my job there involves managing our social media pages and also writing and publishing our Go Fayetteville blog. So it's a lot of fun. I truly, truly enjoy this work that I kind of fell into back in 2015 when my family moved back to North Carolina. So that's a little bit about me.
So, what exactly does a CVB do?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think one of the biggest misperceptions that perhaps people have related to a visitors bureau is that they think that essentially we're just a visitor center where people can stop in and get information about the area and so forth. And we are that. That's kind of the face of our business, so to speak. And we do have 2 visitor centers in downtown Fayetteville. However, the other part of what we do that a lot of people don't realize is sales. And so we sell Fayetteville as a destination to everything from sports tournaments, weddings, reunions, conventions, you name it. So our sales team goes out and actively recruits meeting planners and event planners to bring them to Fayetteville and thus fill up our hotel rooms, which ultimately is our goal. We are funded by our hotel occupancy tax. And so it's a giant tourism wheel, so to speak. The more people we can put in our hotel rooms, the more that will generate and revenue and have an economic impact on our community.
Okay, I'm just writing in the comments right now. If anybody has a question for you, to just drop it in the comments and we'll get it answered.
Good deal.
So tell me a little bit about your job. You referenced it in your introduction, but tell me a little bit, especially what you do there.
Yeah. Well, we have about 10 different social media pages, ranging from Twitter to YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. I'm primarily the person that's writing content for those pages. But in addition to that, like I mentioned, I write the Go Fayetteville blog, which is completely focused on certain areas of interest that our visitors have, whether it be arts and entertainment or sports, recreation. I tend to write blogs that focus a lot on our hidden gems, places that perhaps the average traveler would know nothing about or wouldn't realize are actually in Fayetteville. So that's probably the most fun aspect of my kind of blogging work, is uncovering those hole-in-the-wall gems that even our locals might not be acquainted with, or perhaps they're just kind of best kept secret type places. So that's a huge part of what I do. But I also run our Fayetteville NC Blogger Network, which is basically a group of bloggers who are passionate about Fayetteville and love to promote things to see and do here. And I have a lot of fun with those folks because we meet up quarterly and do different things around the community, from kayaking to eating, going to art exhibits, plays, that sort of thing. So we kind of work alongside them and promote them while they're promoting us, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're our biggest fans for sure.
I'm so jealous of that blogger network that you have there. I keep saying, adopt me, adopt me, adopt me.
Yeah, I wish that that model were used more by visitors bureaus. I think we've proven that it's really effective, and it's telling the story of Fayetteville from the inside out, as I like to say, so that you get a real authentic, man on the street view from the people who live here.
That's true. Now, how long have you been with the CVB again?
It will be 5 years actually this August. Yeah, quite a
Wow.
while.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's a long time. Hey,
Yeah.
how has COVID-19 affected your job?
Well, um, where do I start? Of course, the tourism industry has been impacted heavily by this pandemic, and we cannot be encouraging travel when our state is under a stay-at-home order. And so
Mhm.
we had to completely transition our marketing and social media strategy and start having a different conversation online. um, and so kind of what that looks like for us right now is instead of promoting or selling our destinations, so to speak, we're turning inward and we're focusing on our community and what what our community is doing to make a difference in people's lives right now. Inspirational stories, information, trying to be a source or a resource to our, our local citizens, even where as far as things like where can you find takeout, and
Mhm.
what's out there for people to do that's still considered safe, like kayaking and things like that. So it's been an interesting shift, to try to sell tourism without talking about travel. So, but at the same time, I think it's really neat to be able to highlight so many of our local businesses and citizens who are doing remarkable things right now.
Real quick comment, Tiffany Todd Marquise, I think that's her last name. Jenny sharing of Fable's best kept secrets are my favorite places to go.
Oh, I love that, Tiffany. Tiffany's family was named Military Family of the Year,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, she's an incredible advocate for our community as well. Speaking about wonderful people in this community.
Now, you mentioned some of the businesses that are doing amazing things you want to share?
Yeah, one that I haven't had a chance to really highlight yet, but I'm so impressed with what they're doing. A local organization called Cape Fear Grange has set up a massive initiative to work with restaurants in providing meals to our local hospitals. But the whole idea was that they would be supporting our restaurants by purchasing food from them at regular cost, including tips and delivery and all that, and then delivering those meals once a week to like Walmack Army Medical Center and our Cape Fear Regional Hospital. And so just in the first week or two that they were trying to raise funds, they came up with over $10,000.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it was a lot. And so they're going and buying as many as like 100 plates of food from our local restaurants like Piero's Italian Bistro and um, New Delhi and places like that. So it's a beautiful marriage because it's, on the one hand, it's supporting those restaurants that are suffering right now. And then
Mhm.
it's also supporting our hospital workers at the same time. And I love that idea. I think it's really innovative. And then beyond that, I've talked a bit about two of our theaters early on started using their costume departments to sew masks for local healthcare workers. And they were both just wonderful initiatives. And they were even able to recruit regular people, non-theater people, to pull out their sewing machines and start sewing masks to be donated to our local clinics and so forth. And so Cape Fear Regional Theater and Sweet Tea Shakespeare are the two theater companies that took that on, and I'm so proud of their efforts in that regard.
See, that's the first time I've ever heard of a theater company actually in the costume department actually taking the time to get involved in the effort as well. So kudos
Yeah,
to them.
yeah, isn't that great?
That
I
is
love
awesome.
that.
Now, as far as what other businesses are either open right now or things that people may, if they're like driving through, because I know Fayetteville's right off of I-95.
I
So if they're having to stop, if they're driving like to some place, because I know there's some states that are open now.
Sure.
Um, what are some places in Fayetteville that are open that they may be able to get takeout or just,
Yeah.
or
Well,
something like that?
a couple of recreational sites that were able to stay open during all of this are kayaking outfitter type companies. And so we have two of those now in Cumberland County. One is called Spring Lake Outpost, and it's in our town of Spring Lake. And the other one is called Yakalaki Outfitters, and that's in Hope Mills. And at both places, you can rent a canoe or a kayak or even a tube and hit the water. And I actually did that this past weekend with some friends. We got kayaks and we went out on Hope Mills Lake, which is a charming, charming part of our town of Hope Mills. And we spent about 3 hours out on the water kayaking, and it was honestly one of the prettiest, cleanest bodies of water that I've been on in North Carolina. And I can't even begin to tell you how much good that did for me, mentally and otherwise.
I can imagine being cooped up in the house is hard. I know because
Yeah.
you haven't been able to go into work, have you? Have you basically been working from home, correct?
Yeah. I am working from home. That's true. So that was a nice, just kind of reprieve from the monotony of these days for sure. Another thing in North Carolina, of course, all of our golf courses were able to stay open under the stay-at-home order, and we have about 11 golf courses here, and people are still able to get out on the course and hit, either 18 holes with social distancing practices being put into place by the golf courses. So that's another great option. And of course, our parks are, the facilities have been closed, but our parks have remained open for people to take advantage of the walking trails and hiking trails and that sort of thing.
So how many parks do you guys have in Fayetteville?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know a number. We have, of course, we have our state park, which that one had to completely close. But we also have several regional and city parks. And if I were to pick a wild guess, it would be somewhere around 20, maybe 20 parks, something like that. So,
Oh, wow. So there's
yeah,
plenty of things for people to get out and get some exercise if they're feeling cooped up then,
yeah,
correct?
absolutely. Yeah. And
And
most
let's
of our restaurants have remained open too. In fact, when we were putting together a list of all of the restaurants that were offering takeout or delivery during this time, we found that probably about 75% of them have kept their doors open and are, just offering people those options, even curbside pickup and third-party delivery. And so I think right now, they're just having to get really creative about how to attract customers, and I'm sure you're seeing it where you're at, but a lot of our restaurants have kind of transitioned over to selling like family meals to go.
mhm.
And so they'll put together like a whole dinner package, like our Circa 1800 restaurant downtown, which you and I have been to together.
Fried
Um,
green tomatoes, you introduced me to them.
Yeah, fried green tomatoes. I'll never forget that. That was great. So they're doing a family meal type of package or a date night package about 4 times a week. And they're even, what's so beautiful about it, Melissa, is they're involving other businesses. So like for a date night package, you might get a bouquet of flowers from, our downtown market and a candle from our Cornerstone Design Company. Dessert might come from, Superior Bakery or another local bakery. And it's been really neat to see how they're wanting to collaborate with other businesses to help them.
Because honestly, it's not the spirit of competition right now. It's a spirit of just everybody keeping their head above water.
Absolutely. That is so, so true. Yeah. And those that can collaborate and want to, I think are going to be the ones that really thrive after all this is over with.
Tiffany has a comment. Your kayaking pictures look so inviting. Love Hope Mills Lake.
Yeah, yeah.
I was kind of jealous of that picture too when you posted it.
Tiffany, that was my first time being on that lake. And I kind of had a picture in my mind of it being kind of small, but actually you can go for miles down that lake. It goes all the way down to like Camden Road and even further. So I was so impressed with that place. I'll be back for sure. And for $10 an hour kayaking, you can't beat that for a kayak rental.
That's really good. Is that near Big T's?
That's exactly where it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, our little hometown snow cone stand, Big T's, is right on the edge of that water where the dock is, and you just launch your kayaks right there.
Are they open at 12 or no?
They are. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you can get a snow cone and a hot dog and hit the water all at the same place.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kelly says we've used Yakalaki twice. Absolutely love them.
Oh, Kelly who?
Peterson.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot she had already gotten to do that. That's right.
And then Kelly also says Circa is leading the way for local restaurants.
I absolutely believe that they have set a precedent that is totally true, and it's family owned, and they just are so welcoming and kind and take care of their regular customers so well.
Now I had a question, but let me get into a comment real quick.
Okay.
Mario B. Bay, what a brilliant guest on the show. Loving the insight.
Oh, thank you, Mario. That's so sweet. I serve on the board of Sweet Tea Shakespeare with Mario.
Okay.
Yeah. He talk about another community advocate. That guy definitely advocates for Fayetteville.
So definitely maybe get him on the live later on. Can you connect us maybe?
You totally could. You totally could. Mario, you hear that? You're next.
Yep, there you go. No, actually Tiffany is next because I have Tiffany Haywood, the Mrs. T, on Friday.
That's so great. Yeah, I'm sure she'll have a lot to talk about related to Seed and their efforts right now.
Now, I've seen some of the restaurants in the other cities going to like a grocery store type. Are they any restaurants doing that? Like offering like the raw meats and you can get a pack of toilet paper in with that, or no, in Fayetteville?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are doing things like take and bake, or they'll, kind of give you all the parts to the meal and you put it together, if that makes sense. The creativity that I'm seeing is just amazing. And again, I think people are just learning how to be so innovative during this time and think outside of the box. And I hear from businesses that, they're struggling and perhaps they've had to lay off folks, but they're rethinking everything about how they market themselves and what products they sell. And I think it's giving time for people to kind of reevaluate the status quo, so to speak. So I think it'll be great to see where they are on the other side of all of this. The other thing that we're seeing here that I know you're seeing there is our farmers are gaining in popularity. And all of a sudden, thanks to the meat shortage and this whole movement to buy more local and stay away from big box stores, our farmers are, all of a sudden overwhelmed with business. And that is such a great problem for them to have. And I think we're going to see a whole revolution when it comes to that. We're going to be going back to those small farmers and supporting them. We have so many in this community. And now we have several farmers markets that offer them great ways to connect with the public as well.
Is Dirtbag Ales going to be able to open up their farmers market?
Actually, I checked in with them the other day about that, and their plan is, if all goes well, that hopefully in phase 2, they'll be able to open their farmers market. They have hesitated to do so before now, even a drive-through market, because they know that typically on any given farmers market day, they might draw a couple thousand people out. right? And they didn't want to be doing anything that might endanger folks. And so they held back on reopening the market until it was safe to do so again. But meanwhile, they just came out with a line of beers, Melissa. This is hilarious. They're called the Isolation Session. Or the series of the beer is called House Arrest. And they have, they have one beer called Don't Be Sour About It. And another one's Isolation IPA. And they just unveiled those this week. And I'm looking forward to trying those.
Well, of course you're looking forward to trying those.
Dirtbag, my love for their beer.
Yeah. And actually, this is kind of like a dirtbag connection, but last year when I went up, when you had the Raleigh bloggers come, and I was considered a Raleigh blogger, I got connected with Purpose Driven Family Farms, and I actually took a drive out there 2 or 3 weeks ago with my husband at their farm stand, and we bought pork and bacon and spare ribs and stuff from them. They are super sweet people.
That is so fantastic. I love hearing that, Melissa, that you drove all that way. I have yet to go out to their farm. She's invited me. But here's a fun fact. They actually set up at Dirtbag once a week for pickup. So folks can place their order in advance and then go pick up their meat and eggs and all that good stuff right there at Dirtbag on a designated day. I want to say it's either Friday or Saturday that they're there.
I think it's Friday because she tries to be at her farm stand on Saturdays.
Okay. Yeah, probably is Friday. And then on Sundays, our Cedar Creek Fish Farm sets up at Dirtbag. And so folks can buy catfish from them that comes from their farm and other seafood that they source here in North Carolina. And that is a wonderful family veteran-owned business where people can actually go out to that farm and fish for catfish 7 days a week, or they can just purchase it already cleaned and ready to go. So
that's an opportunity for people that want to get out of the house and they want to get out and fish, or just go out and get fresh air, bring a picnic, I guess, and just go fish right there.
Exactly. Yeah, because fishing is definitely, you can do social distancing while fishing.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
fact, our fish and game trail on our website is our most popular trail by far, because we list all the good fishing holes around the county that a lot of people don't even know about. And over again, we see that trail is being viewed more than any other trail. Mm-hmm. Lots of opportunities to fish here.
That's pretty cool. And also speaking about kind of farmer, it's maybe Cumberland County adjacent, but Bravo Steaks.
Yeah.
They actually ship throughout the United States. So right before that stay-at-home shelter-in-place order came down, I actually got a shipment from them and ordered from them and shipped. And that is actually
saying that.
And I'm actually going to ship because my son-in-law's birthday is May 23rd, and he's not going to be able to come here because they're in California. Okay. So I'm shipping Bravo Steaks to them in California.
That's so cool. I love that they offer that. And if I remember correctly, when I looked them up, they are technically in Cumberland County. So yeah, what a great little farm. I think it was because of you I might have actually discovered them.
They are super sweet. I mean, if you follow them on Instagram, they're awesome because she gives all the details about farm life, and she tries to educate instead of what mainstream media says.
Yeah, I absolutely love those farms that are using social media to kind of show behind the scenes. And Bravo does that so well. I mean, they're not just showing the glamorous side of it. They're showing like the real day-to-day problems that they have. Like, what wasn't it just the other day when their cows got out? Mm-hmm. And she had to go help her husband corral the cows. That cracked me up. You don't think about things like that. I mean, those are the real struggles of ranchers and farmers, you know.
Okay, Mario said anytime. So I guess anytime I want to have him on, he's going to be on. Tiffany Haywood said, hello, ladies. Kelly Peterson said, just got the whole collection of those beers at Dirtbag Ales.
Of course she did. Kelly might be a bigger fan of Dirtbag than I am. I don't know. We're probably neck and neck there.
Mario says purpose-driven farms is fantastic. Always get something from them, and they're family run, and they're I
Mhm.
want to say a young couple because I don't consider them
Yeah,
old. I mean, yeah, they're
yeah,
super
they
sweet.
are young. Hmm.
And any of those Hispanics that are listening right now, my husband is from Mexico, and we just got some chorizo from there, and he said it was just like he was back home in Mexico. He absolutely loved it. So
Oh, dang, I'm gonna have to try that then. I'm a huge fan of chorizo. I
yeah.
love to make breakfast burritos with that.
And then Kelly Peterson says we absolutely love Dwayne. Is Dwayne from Cedar
Cedar
Creek?
Creek Fish Farm. Dwayne's the one of the son, and he's oftentimes the one that's out at Dirtbag Ales Farmers Market selling their fish, and he's a sweetheart.
And then Kelly Peterson said the fishing is so fun and rewarding. Their catfish is so fresh it doesn't even taste fishy.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth. I haven't actually fished out there yet because um, the hurricane actually took out their
Mhm.
tank, and
Oh,
they had to do literally there were fish spread all over their land. Sadly, after the hurricane, and they experienced a lot of damage. But they do have their tanks up and running again, and they're open 7 days a week for fishing.
now, talking about the hurricane, how do you think it's gonna affect some of these businesses are just getting back on their feet from hurricane, was it Florence, right?
Right? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think one one thing the both the hurricanes taught our area was how to overcome really tough crises like that. And so, in some ways, maybe we were better prepared for this pandemic than other communities. You know, because we've been through a lot over the last couple of years as an entire community. Fayetteville was just hit so hard, in particular by Florence. I mean, both of them. But yeah, I think this just goes back to the whole conversation about people here being so resilient and adapting. You know, in a military community like this, we just kind of have to. You know, we roll with the punches and we come out stronger on the other side.
Now, speaking of military, I know a lot, obviously you have military connection with Fort Bragg being right there, but a lot of the businesses are either they have some military connection, whether it be veteran owned or a
Mhm.
spouse of a military person. So talk about that. Talk about veteran owned and military connected places
Yeah.
in Fayetteville.
Well, I mean, the list goes on and on. I could name so many businesses like that. But I think what's remarkable about that story, and oftentimes when we host travel writers and bloggers here, they pick up on this, that there are so many of those folks who aren't even from Fayetteville. They served, perhaps they got out or they retired or they're a disabled veteran, whatever the case may be. They don't go back home to their state. They oftentimes stay here, and because of the fact that they're from other parts of the country, they're bringing the best of the rest of the country here, I like to say.
Mhm.
So, whatever their passion may be, whether it's barbecue or building custom made furniture or farming, you name it, we see those people turn around and kind of reinvest back into the community. And that is such a beautiful story that we like to tell over and over again at the Visitors Bureau, because those people are what we call hashtag Faye by choice. And
Mhm.
I'm certainly a proud Faye by choice person myself. You know, it's kind of like when you adopt a child, you're choosing that child, right?
Mhm.
Um, when you adopt this place as your hometown, I think you almost take more ownership of it. And that's not even, you know, talking about the folks who were born here and have invested as well. Of course, they're just as much of a credit to our economy here as our veteran-owned businesses are. So,
Yeah, I think I had that conversation with you. Remember when I told you my husband and I got in a fight about Fayetteville and how it was like wasn't safe to go there, and I'm like, oh yes, it is.
yeah, yeah,
Because
that's
it
so
has
funny.
changed a lot from what
It
its
has
reputation was
changed.
before, and people don't realize that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. People that visited here in the 70s more than likely had a completely different experience, but thanks to so many revitalization efforts and just our city's efforts in general, especially our downtown area, is just completely different. And there's so much vibrancy and life there. I feel safer in downtown than I do just about anywhere. And of course, I work there, but I also play there. So, yeah, Fayetteville's a different Fayetteville today than it was 30, 40 years ago, for sure.
Allison, I'm gonna butcher her last name, so I'm gonna try it, but she's Hodgepodge.
Clackowitz. Yeah.
Yeah. She said, Faye by choice, Jenny is the #1 cheerleader.
Oh, Allison, so sweet. There's another person. Have you had her on your show yet?
Not yet, but I actually did a podcast last week. I think she it was on her
you on her podcast. That's right. Yeah.
She's on my list. I'm just trying to kind of spread it out to get not just Fayetteville, but everybody.
Of course. Yeah. I love that. Allison's a doll.
Yeah. It's just so happens that you and Tiffany are on the same week, which like two of my favorite Fayetteville people anyway. Tiana Dean, is that Tiana? Is that her name? Mm-hmm. She says, woo, woo, hashtag downtown Faye strong.
Yes. Oh man. She's the veteran's spouse and owner of Cornerstone Design Company downtown, and they build custom furniture, but they also have a candle business, and folks can do candle making workshops with Tiana when they reopen, of course. But that's an amazing business, and she's yet another huge Faye by choice advocate. I adore her.
Now, are they beside Winter Bloom?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
You know, I love Winter Bloom.
Yeah, in fact, they're good friends with the owners of Winter Bloom and Blue Moon Cafe, and yeah, all those folks make up our downtown. In fact, that Downtown Faye Strong campaign has been really neat to watch. Them come together and support one another during this time. Our Cool Spring Downtown District has done an amazing job of keeping our downtown businesses relevant in this crisis. So have to give them a big shout out.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haywood said they can order candle kits for at home now. So stinking cool. Did you know that?
Yes, that's right. I should have mentioned that. Good one, Tiffany. Yeah, that's one of the fun things, I think, creative ways that these businesses are coming up with people to do as activities at home. You know, you can do candle making with Cornerstone. You can even pick up pottery packets or packages from Greg's Pottery downtown, and they'll even fire it for you later on. There's all these neat little ways that these businesses are trying to stay relevant and top of mind.
And that Grace Pottery is awesome. Gracie and I did that when we were on our mother and daughter trip last year.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
that's right. That. Yeah.
So with the phase 1 coming up, so what's going to be open in Fayetteville for phase 1?
Well, I know that one of the things that they're encouraging is for parks to reopen. And then, you know, with our retail businesses, they're going to be able to open at a certain capacity, just like, you know, the rest of North Carolina. So not a huge change, you know, with phase 1. I think we'll really start to see a difference once we reach phase 2. And I'm hoping that's sooner than later, but you know, the trends and our governor is taking it quite seriously. So.
Well, I know California still has not. Everybody's still shelter in place in California, and they've been shelter in place way before we were shelter in place. So.
Yeah. I think we've been very fortunate in North Carolina and in Fayetteville in particular. I mean, we are a smaller city. We're not a metropolitan city like New York or Raleigh, so we haven't been as hard hit, you know. And I'm so grateful for that. I hope that we can continue to really keep good control of this situation here.
Now, I've got to ask you kind of a sort of personal question. It has to do with the CVB because I know you guys are such a tight-knit group. Are you still able to connect with each other, or is it just not the same? You're probably going to have a huge homecoming when everybody's together, right?
Well, we certainly utilize Zoom a lot. Yeah, we're on there quite a bit, having meetings with our marketing firm, our monthly staff meeting, our department meetings. So, we hear from one another pretty regularly, but it is hard to stay connected when you're all working from home or rotating in and out of the office. So, yeah, that's been a little bit challenging, but thankfully, the majority of our jobs can be done from home, and I'm so grateful for that.
It's just you miss that camaraderie.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And fun fact, our visitors bureau, people don't even have to step foot in there to get information. They can go through our drive-through because our visitors bureau used to be a bank, and they can just pull up to the window and request whatever information they might need. So, yeah.
So is somebody manning that right now or no?
Yeah, a few of our staff members are rotating days in the office. Typically, there's no more than maybe four people in there at a time. But there are some folks that are still going into the office a couple of days a week.
So if there was one thing that you could tell people to do to help these small businesses at this time, what would you say for them to do?
Oh, I think one of the best things that you can do for a small business is other than spending money there, of course, on social media. I mean, sharing, engaging with their posts, leaving them a good positive review, tagging them when you do make purchases and bragging on their efforts. All of that goes so far to spreading the word and helping them with their social media engagement. So of course, spending money with them would be number one, but you don't have to spend money to help these businesses. There's so many other ways you can.
I know a lot of people don't think that even free stuff, they don't think it's helping, but it actually is helping a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, for sure. I mean, just yesterday I was in the Twitter travel chat for National Travel and Tourism Week, and I shared a picture of Brooklyn Pizzeria here. And it turned into this long conversation about Brooklyn style pizza, and me and a couple of other travel bloggers, NC Tripping and Charles McCool, were going back and forth. Next thing you know, we were craving pizza so bad that even though it was Cinco de Mayo, I was calling Brooklyn Pizzeria last night to purchase their pizza, all because we were just having a conversation about it. And I said, isn't that funny? Like, here we are, bloggers and influencers, and we're influencing our own selves with what we're putting out there on social media. So, but that's the psychology behind it. It works.
Yeah. Allison said the curbside delivery to go pages have been awesome in promoting small business here. Oh, I think we might have lost Jenny for a minute. We have internet connections. You know how it is. We're all in the cyberspace. We're all kind of taken prisoners pretty much by the internet. So we might have lost her. Let's see for just a minute if she can come back or if I'm frozen. So I don't think I'm frozen because I'm looking at my other thing. So I think Jenny's frozen. So if not, we will try. We're going to hang on just a second. If you have any more comments, I will say Fayetteville is an amazing, amazing place to visit. I consider it my adopted hometown. I would actually get up and move there if my husband would let us, but no, he still has that negative connotation of Fayetteville that I'm trying slowly and surely to get him away from. But but Fayetteville has some amazing places. Greg's Pottery we talked about. We talked about Dirtbag Ales. We talked about Winter Bloom Tea, circa 1800, Piero's, the Wine Cafe, the Floating Shanty, the Candle Company, and everything else. I mean, just basically, if you go downtown Fayetteville, LeClaire's is also another place that's kind of forgotten, but it's a really cool like coffee shop if you ever want to go there. It's super cool to go to. So we have lost Jenny totally because she's totally out of the stream now. So, and I don't know if she'll be able to log back on, but thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in on Friday at 2 o'clock, and I'll have the Mrs. T, Tiffany Haywood, on. She's actually like someone that I look up to a lot, and I take her advice, and she's actually the one that got me on doing StreamYard lives this way. And I can't wait to see you guys on Friday. And have a good day. And I hate that we lost Jenny, but I want to thank Jenny Bell from the CVB for coming on today and talking about all things Fayetteville and how Fayetteville's coping with the COVID-19. And I love how the two theater companies in Fayetteville are actually doing the mask as well. And I know Mario from Sweet Tea and Shakespeare, or Shakespeare and Sweet Tea? I know it's one or the other. It said he would come on. Oh, Jenny is coming back in. She moved outside. Hi, Jenny.
I told you I have horrible internet reception. I'm so sorry.
I was just talking up Fayetteville while I was waiting. I was like, well, I'm just going to talk a little bit before, just in case we haven't lost her, she can come back in. So, yeah.
Now, that page that Allison is referring to is that page that we created on our website for coronavirus resources. And anybody can go on there and find all of the restaurants in Cumberland County that have remained open. And they can even filter it by curbside pickup, takeout, delivery, and type of cuisine. So we're pretty proud that we were able to put all that together, because there's over 650 restaurants here. So it's a lot, but thankfully that's been a good resource for people.
Now, I know that you don't live like in Fayetteville Center. You live sort of out. So what have you been, I'm asking you kind of a personal, what have you been taking in as far as, I know sometimes I've seen on your social media, you've gone to Circa 1800 and picked up food. So what other places would you recommend for people to go to?
Oh my goodness. Where do I start? Well, I definitely would recommend napkins out at Dirtbag Ales. They're still open. And that's a wonderful option. They can do takeout, curbside delivery if you call in advance, and of course get your beer to go while you're there. Another one that I've gotten, our burger, our most popular burger joint on wheels. They're still all over town as usual. Let's see here. Yes, I adore Circa. I'm a big fan of a Thai place downtown called PJ's PJ's Thai Cuisine. And that's another good one that's remained open. Let's see what else. There's so many that I could name. One of my new favorite discoveries, thanks to my last lunch with you, is Pharaoh's Village, right on the outskirts of Hope Mills. That was absolutely delicious. In fact, I tried calling them the other day to get delivery, but they weren't open yet. So I was a little disappointed. But yeah, those are a few options.
Yeah, that was one that I actually introduced you to, which
yes, I know. You were like, I get to introduce you to one of your own restaurants. That was so good.
Because a friend of mine had traveled through and had eaten there, and I'd heard how good it was, and it was amazing.
Definitely.
So, Jenny, I just want to thank you so much for being on. And guys, if you have any questions or comments, just you can leave it down. Jenny will come back, and I'll come back, and Jenny will come back, and we'll comment on your comments. So,
absolutely.
Jenny, thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you, Melissa. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. See you guys on Friday at 2 with the Mrs. T.